Imagine this. You're living peacefully in your home, living your life as best as you can, and you hear word of your beloved home potentially being sold without your input nor your consent. Anger, loss, fear, confusion. These are just some of the emotions that begin to swell within you as you come to terms with what's happening. You reach out to the ones responsible, but they ignore your input and refuse to recognize what belongs to you and your people. Despite that, one of your companions rejects the notion to give up on hope and continues to fight back. I mean, would you sit idly as your home is taken away? They decide to create petitions, gather support, and debate with the opposition as a way to defend their home, and they succeed in doing so. What I have described up until now is a story about the life of Louis Riel. Ladies and gentlemen, I am speaking here today to convince you all that the life of Louis Riel up until 1885 serves as an inspiration and important time for Métis people. His actions of defending their land and rights, providing future opportunities for his people, and setting an example for future generations is proof of just that. Ladies and gentlemen, throughout our history, the many rights of the indigenous people have always been ignored in both their land claims and their rights in general as people. This is seen in the 1860s, when Riel's home, also known as the Red River Colony, was sold to the Dominion of Canada without the consultation of his people, a time when all hope may have seemed lost for the Métis people. Until Louis Riel decided to join the Métis National Committee to help persuade the government to recognize their rights to their land. He began as a member, climbed up to be the president of the committee, and ended as a leader for his people, and helped face the government during this trying time. After various consultations, resistances, and debates with the Canadian government, Louis Riel was successful in defending his people's land. He secured 1.4 million acres for the Métis people in the new province, Manitoba, he helped form, showing us what difference a single man can make, showing us how hard he worked for his people's rights, and showing us the future he helped provide for new generations of Métis people. Louis Riel helped secure protection for the Métis people's way of life and home, but that didn't last long, until problems arose again and promises were broken. After being outcast from Canada, requests for help from Louis Riel was sent by the people of Saskatchewan in 1844. Despite being forced to leave Canada, Louis Riel accepted this request, displaying the dedication he had for his people, and had begun petitioning to the government concerning their official title to their lands, low wheat prices, high freight costs, and tariffs on farming machinery. The protests began peacefully, but ended violently due to the government of Canada ignoring his people's voices. As a result of the violent protests, Louis Riel was captured for treason and put on trial. He was given an opportunity to plead insanity due to his past psychological issues to save him from losing his trial, but despite that, he remained silent concerning it. Louis Riel remained silent so his people's claims could remain legitimate in the eyes of the Canadian government. Throughout his life, he didn't sway from defending his people. He didn't sway from fighting back, and nor did he sway from sacrificing his life for his people. Louis Riel was willing to give his life for his cause, and willing to do anything for his people's rights and land. He was willing to fight an impossible opposition to defend what he believed was right, and for those reasons, he's an inspiration. The life and death of Louis Riel were many things to the Métis people, both a tragedy, a beacon of hope, and a foundation for the future. Louis Riel's life serves as an inspiration to Métis people, as one of the very first successes for the recognition of rights as Métis people. It's one of the first steps that has provided support for future claims and serves as an inspiration for new leaders to take charge and fight for their rights. His actions have even resulted in the recognition of Métis people's rights in a recent claim through his assistance in the creation of the Manitoba Act. According to the Toronto Star, recently the government acknowledged the Métis people's right to their land, and the Supreme Court finally sided with the Métis people's land claims being ignored, despite the Manitoba Act Louis Riel helped create, stating that it will dedicate territory for them. This is a huge step in the right direction for the Métis people and will serve as an example and inspiration for the future, just like the life of Louis Riel.